well, I mean, there is a certain pride that comes with being a technocrat, with being part of technocracy, understanding how things really work, and I think it's more than ever. I mean, we're not in a if you don't understand how voting machines work, or telematic system in your car works, or how
voting machines should work really simply. I should push a layer, I should pull a handle, and I should punch a piece of paper. That's how a voting machine should work.
Yeah, I was very upset that when New York switched off, and I was very happy that we hadn't switched off for so long after the Florida debacle. After Boer versus Gush.
I get very disturbed when I kind of do the little SAT model of fill in this circle, and it kind of goes into a scanner, and maybe it's counted, maybe it's not, and maybe sort of it selected what I told it to select.
Right. So it can be.
I hate that model.
I think it can be done safely. It's just that we're not doing that. We're not. The problem is that I think that the problem. I look at it in two problems. One is, okay, we want our votes to be accurate, right? And on the other hand, we also want to figure out how this happened in the first place, that we could have a system that's so risky, so risque, and nobody noticed, right? To me, so there's two defects. One is with the voting machines themselves, and one is with democracy. And this is one of the things that inspired me to start the show, is that people really need to start thinking about this and talking about this. Because if you think that a closed source operating system computer running Windows on commodity hardware with some pretty screens stuck in a booth inside of a curtain is a trustworthy custodian for the data that runs the most powerful military the world has ever seen, you're not a computer person. I don't know. Would you? It seems like you agree with me, but
I remember I'm the Windows guy.
Right.
I'll run Windows all day long.
Right.
Very happily, long before I'll touch Linux.
Right. But you're running the same copy of Windows, a digitally signable copy of Windows that 100 million other customers are.
Right.
Yeah, and that voting machine, you can't even get into it to see. You don't know.
Right. Yeah. In that regard, yes, I see what you're saying there.
Yeah. I'm not picking on closed source. Okay. Closed source has its uses, for sure.
It's the thing that scares me on the voting side too. I mean, we know with a single SQL statement,
right,
you could change every one of those votes.
Right.
There's no auditability. There's no external accountability.
You have to bribe one DBA if it's a poorly structured company.
Exactly.
And you're done. You've completely taken the country over.
Right. And that's what I
like straight out of a James Bond movie. I mean, not even slightly puffed up. Just. Right. Yeah, is it done? It's done. Good job. Thank you. When do I get my $1 billion? Boom. Go outside.
Yeah, exactly. Anyone that thinks they're not going to get blown up after they do that just isn't thinking.
Right.
So that's why I don't like. That's why I want that paper trail. I want that physical paper trail. I want to be able to recount.
Right.
On paper. Not we're going to do a recount. Does the screen say the same thing it did last time? Yeah. Okay, it's the same number.
Right.
No.
Well, this is something I was thinking about talking about with you, and I actually decided not to, but it's the difference between seals and locks. So there's a great video, a few great videos out there on YouTube if you look it up. So I haven't gotten to talk about this on the show, but it's been on my list. So I'm hitting you with some of my harder topics because I think you can handle it. So again, don't take it personal. It's not an attack or a way to pick on you. No. But seals versus locks, a lock is something that actually restricts someone from getting into something. Okay. Like you can't encryption on the data itself without the encryption key currently present is an example of a lock. Okay. A seal is something where you can just tell if it's been tampered with. So at the least, the minimum standard for any kind of security is a seal. So at least if you can see the seal's been tampered with, you go, okay, I can't use this data. It's no good. I can't use this product. This has been messed with. The easiest example, everyone's got one on the side of their house, the electric meter, right? You have a little plastic, it looks like a lock. It's not a lock. Yeah. But you can't put it back together once it's been taken apart. Right. And the electric company knows that, and they know that you tinkered with it. So now they know, okay, we got to sound a 5-alarm fire and make sure this guy's electrical system isn't going to knock us dead, or if the meters run backwards, they know that someone's tampered with it.
Right.
To me, in the voting machines, we don't even meet the seal standard, because that's what the paper tape would do. It would create a seal.
Right.
When you have a contiguous register tape and someone who's part of an official of the voting process is there and has to change it if, say, it runs out, and you have to account for all the tapes.
Right.
If one's missing, there's been voter fraud.
Yep.
Or just utter Benny Hill level stupidity, So, and people need to know this. They
what
really
bugs
need
me
to.
about that is it's so trivial to do.
It is.
It's like the fact that
there's no public pressure. This is the problem.
The fact that it's not part of the standard voting machine is almost like you had to consciously want to not do this. Mm-hmm. It was. We started on a paper system. Your total mindset should be, let's automate counting the paper ballots. So at the end of the night, we don't have to go 1, 2, 3, 4. We can just go 87. Mm-hmm. But if we question it, we can go 1, 2, 3, 4.
Right.
What were you thinking that took the paper out? I mean,
right.
It's like almost the fact that it's not there isn't that there can be fraud. It's almost like this should almost be proof that there is fraud.
It looks like a smoking gun to me. And a lot of people think this is a left versus right thing, and it's not. It's absolutely not. There's been tons of problems on both sides.
Shouldn't be, yeah.
And I know there's a lot of push for this is so you can. I discussed this 2 episodes ago, the problem of documentation of voters, and I understand that there's civic parts of it, but from a computer guy's point of view, you want to verify that the data you have is good. For example, when you download it from the internet, because it could have been corrupted, you could have lost a packet in the middle or something like that, and generally unverified data is considered garbagey. So to me, the idea of not verifying when possible is nuts.
Right.
In anything, and even really, really low impact stuff.
Right.
It's like, why wouldn't you verify when it's almost free, right?
Yep.
So when I look at that, and then I look at the voting machine, and I'm like, what? Why wouldn't you? I think the press is pushing this idea that low verification is acceptable in the voting space, but just as a reminder to the people on the left that it's not just a right wing pushing for verification. Karl Rove worked at an ATM company. Bush's brain, the guy that was responsible for the the direction of the Republican Party for a dozen years, and probably still is to a large degree. Was a computer geek working on trusted systems. If someone that political can come out of that space, you don't think it can happen on either side? You're crazy. You might be getting duped in a way that you don't like. This isn't necessarily in your favor to have lack of verification.
Regardless of which side you're on, to the degree that there are only 2, and there really are a few more, but for the most part, there are 2 sides.
Right.
You shouldn't. Your fundamental care should be: was the result honest?
Right.
Yes, I want my guy to win.
Yes.
But above, I want my guy to win, should be I want the right guy to win in the sense of the vote process was honest, and that's who won.
That's the third side. That's my side. That's the side I'm on. I don't really care who wins. I really don't. Because if the system works, it's not going to matter. Right? It'll self-correct. If you could have a
it'll totally self-correct. It'll always self-correct.
If you have an anomaly, if you have someone who manages to kind of weasel into the system, and then eventually they'll expire out. Either they'll be the evidence of their problems will start to show themselves, or their term limit will hit, or something will happen, and they're out, and then the system will just self-correct and fix itself, and all the bad laws that they were participating in. That's an ideal system. I realize don't have an ideal system, but that's what I'm on team ideal system. That's what I want.
Everyone should be on that team, and there's just a reality.
I don't really think they are.
I don't think they are either.
I hope they are. I mean, please be on that team. Please be on team ideal system, even if you don't agree with what it is. We need that because it's important to all of us. And integrity is part of that. Custody is part of that. And seals are one way to protect that integrity.
And that works, especially in the United States, as you said, the largest military that the world has ever known. I like the fact that things move slowly in Washington.
Well, I'd say most powerful, right? It's not largest. Because
not by count.
China has
but by ability to blow
twice
things
as many
up.
people, boots on the ground, but
by ability to blow things up.
Rods from God and stuff.
I like the fact that things move slowly in Washington. They're supposed to. The last thing you want is an economy or a military or anything the size of ours doing something on a knee-jerk reaction.
Right.
Whatever it is.
Right.
You don't have the right information. You can almost be guaranteed that what you think is right immediately after an incident isn't. You don't think through the full consequences. I mean, you should take a while to make America do something.
Right.
When we do, you should know when we do.
Right.
But
I like it when we fight for a while about something.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a bit of a neo-Luddite, so I love technology.
Okay.
But I also see the dangers too. And to me, when I see technology run amok, I'm like, what is going on? And I think a lot of people are, and a lot of people have just kind of, let's not change it. It works. Let's not change it. It works in the technological space. And all of a sudden, we've gotten to the point where the economy of scale is so good on these technologies, we've kind of been shoving off into the future. Now we have to use them because we can't compete if we don't. And there's all these new technologies all at once that are coming out, like voting machines, like social media, and we just don't understand the consequences of them.